Greetings everybody, Jordan here, and here are a few tips I wish I knew when I first started playing Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt. But before I start, I wanted to disclaim some things. First off, and in case this isn't clear, you can play any game however you want, as long as you are enjoying it. There is no wrong answer. Second, this game in general has a find your own playstyle system, meaning that there are many options to actually play the game, whether it be by using a lot of potions, mainly relying on magic, studying up the multiple bestiary entries, or going berserk slashing through every enemy you find. So if you don't find these tips helpful, that's fine. But I think that if it is either your first time playing Witcher 3 or you're trying to get back after a long period of time, this will be helpful or at least make the experience more pleasant. Now, the first thing I would recommend you to do as soon as you can is ignore the main story slash quests and do absolutely everything else you can in each zone you arrive. I say as soon as you can because if I'm not incorrect, there is a bit of tutorials and some unskippable story sections you have to get through before you get to freely play. But after that, you start doing anything, any side quest you can find and explore as much as you want or can before advancing in the story. Side note here, pay close attention to the tutorial. Many of the obstacles you'll find throughout your first playthrough are caused out of skipping or not paying attention to that tutorial. I say skip the story mainly because Witcher 3, at least from its medium difficulty to its highest difficult, requires a bit of grinding to actually advance in the story, mainly so you can level up and beat some tough enemies along the way. But if you try to go through the story without doing this, you will eventually get stuck, and for some, breaking the flow of their playthrough ends up decreasing the amount of joy they get from their playthrough. So, in order to avoid this, just ignore the main quest until you've done all you can in each zone. The advantage of this is that because Witcher 3 is so well written, most side quests and encounters you can experience within the game are just enjoyable on their own. Next thing you should start doing as soon as you can is pick up literally everything, whether it be materials, letters slash documents, or ingredients. Take your time whenever you see there are special markers on the map to get all you can. This is because later on, when you need a specific potion, oil, bomb, or want to build armor or weapons, you'll be glad you had the extra materials or ingredients for them. Also, you might find recipes that will help you against specific enemies. Also, by extension, don't miss out on the gear and potions slash craftables you can create. Most people, or at least I did, throughout our first playthrough, or when we get back into the game, forget how useful it is to have a specific potion in your inventory or the ability to create a better sword. So to avoid this mistake, always check out what you can create. For potion, this is extremely useful as after you make one, you can just refill it or replenish it by meditating. You don't have to keep gathering ingredients to make more. Well, at least not the original ingredients, that is. Next up is the bestiary, because boy oh boy, this is one of the most overlooked mechanics of this game. Literally so many headaches could have been avoided if I only took the time to read up on a specific creature. Literally trying to kill a monster with a specific method that don't work against them. So don't miss out on the bestiary. This can even help you adjust your strategy while fighting enemies so you can avoid damage, as descriptions will literally spell out when you should be quick or patient against an enemy. It's simply better to prepare a bit more before fighting monsters. Another thing you should consider is that one of the most annoying mechanics of this game is that you have to repair your equipment for the damage you can deal and the damage resistance you have. So avoid being reckless and having to spend too much money repairing your gear. With this, it also helps that you started picking up materials, ingredients, and documents from the start of the game, as you can also sell the extra junk for quick money, and having the specific potion, oil, or bomb that you need to better fight a monster will be extremely helpful. Not to mention, it will also save you a lot of avoidable damage. Another one is that regardless of the playstyle you have, you should start assigning points on the Axii sign branch, specifically the delusion skill. This will be incredibly useful both in story and side quests, as it basically allows you to persuade characters and it can help you avoid unnecessary battles. Remember, you want to save your gear integrity for the tough enemies. Something else you should be taking advantage of is saving your game. This will be extremely helpful if you don't like an option you selected in dialogue or if you fight strong enemies before you're ready. as sometimes dialogue options don't quite convey what you'll end up saying, and if you're anything like me, you'll be overconfident when it comes to strong enemies, and losing hours of progress is very annoying to say the least. So make sure you save your game before entering dialogue or fighting some enemies. I recommend you do saves at least 20 steps away, for minimum distance, or max distance 30 steps away from the enemy you have to fight or the character you want to talk to. Next is combat. Here's where paying attention on the tutorial will pay off, because if this is your first time playing a game in which you can just button smash to defeat enemies, you'll have a bit of trouble getting used to parrying and counterattacking. But don't feel too bad, because even if you're used to these types of games, it still won't be a walk in the park. This is mainly because the blocking system not only works a bit uniquely compared to other games, but also because it doesn't always work. Normally, it is very intuitive. For example, if you're fighting a big monster or enemy with a heavy weapon, parries and counterattacks won't work, so you'll have to rely solely on dodging, and if you're fighting smaller beasts or enemies with light weapons, this will work. Regardless, there is still a learning curve you'll have to get over. So the best thing you can do is utilize the sign Queen or Ken, I don't remember how it's pronounced, and Art. The first one will give you a layer of protection that will allow you to get hit without being damaged while getting used to the blocking / parry system. On the other hand, Art will allow you to get some distance from your enemies, so you can get yourself together and can come up with a better counterattack or strategy. Lastly, there is the leveling up system. Here is just a matter of paying attention to how it works. The best advice I can give you here is to read all the skills you can unlock to make sure which branch you want to focus on. This is because the way the leveling up works in Witcher 3 is that you can't just assign points to whatever skill you want. You have to work on some skills before you can access others, and sometimes you have to use a certain number of points before you can unlock higher skills within the branches. There are also mutagens, but these are basically color coordinated, so I don't think many will have issues with this. But just in case, you just have to make sure that the attributes you unlock and assign for their effects get boosted with the mutagens that match your colors. Meaning that if you have combat attributes active, boost them with a red mutagen. That basically means it's an attack booster. Again, this isn't super complicated, but just in case you were wondering. As a final note, and like I said at the beginning, Witcher 3 is a find your own playset game, so there is no wrong way to play it. So regardless of if you follow my advice or not, I hope these tips were helpful. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope to see your thoughts in the comments, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye.